Let's talk about Infinity Pool and its ending. A lot of people were wondering on my ending explained already did for the movie. What exactly did happen to James? Was that a clone? And what is all of this happening? So before we get any further, of course, spoilers ahead. If you click this video, of course, you know there's going to be spoilers. And I want to ask you to go ahead and subscribe and like our video if you haven't already. But let's get into it. So at the end of Infinity Pool, well, let's just recap real quick what we saw. We basically saw in this movie, I want to say, Gabby doming over James. And that's exactly how I would always describe this movie. This is a movie about somebody's will and spirit being broken all the way to the point where they're just a vessel, and that's all. Emptiness inside all around for everybody. What a joyous movie, right? But no, pretty much what we got here was a movie about somebody who had sort of an ego. And although James didn't really show that he had this ego, he did have this ego to him where he felt that he was on top of the world and everything, and nothing could really hurt him. Well, by the end of this movie, we saw a lot can actually hurt him, and we saw that he is just very much so a fragile man. So throughout this movie, we learned that they are actually able to clone you here on this island, and this is sort of the way you can get out of punishment. Of course, James was going to be punished due to him running over a local and killing them. Now, he had the chance to get a clone of himself, which he did, and that was going to be the end of it, right? You get the clone, they kill the clone, and then you get out of the island. James chose not to get off the island. He chose to continue with Gabby and her friends, ultimately leading to finding out that there are more clones being made of him because he's just getting into all sort of trouble with him. So now there are 2 clones that James has sacrificed in order for himself to be himself still and be roaming around doing whatever he wants. Now, by the time that he wants to leave and everything, we find out there's a 3rd clone. So now there are 4 James apparently out there. The 3rd clone is when he's had it because he's tricked into beating this clone into almost a pulp, and then we eventually see that this is where James is like, I'm out of here. When he tries to leave, however, the group, Gabby and everybody else, of course, is not going to let him because they said, once you're in, you're in. And like I said, this is a movie about Gabby doming James, and that's exactly what Gabby is going to do. And she is going to make James sort of be her slave of sorts. That's exactly what she wants, breaking his spirit all the way into the end until he is just nothing, which we see at the end of the movie when he is about to leave and everybody else is boarding their flights. He decides to stay back and just be there. Even with the monsoon and everything going on in the island, he is just going to stay there no matter what. So many people are questioning, was this the real James that stayed? Did another James stay on the island and there are other James actually fly off? And many people are saying this because of the markings on the faces and all of that. Well, I was looking through some stuff and I read through Screen Rant, and they were talking about there being actually a lot of signs that there could actually be 5 clones. So I'll link the article below, but this made me want to go back and revisit some of this, and actually it can kind of make sense. So according to them, at the end of the movie, we see Terminal 3 and 5, and then we also see that the room number that James is at is 305, 3 out of 5. So apparently the way this goes is that there were 3 out of 5 clones that were killed, and we see at the end of the movie that James is carrying 3 urns with him in his suitcase. So that means that there could actually be another clone that actually stayed. Now, I don't necessarily think that the clone we saw at the end with the dogfight and everything is the clone that stayed. There could actually be another clone that was made of James that's actually going to be at the island now. And so this is something that I very much so agree with. Another way to think about it is that the clone itself was the one that left in the plane. That's why they sort of looked a little like, what is going on? Like, what am I doing here? You know? And the real James actually was the one that stayed on the island. And I think this is because the real James see this as sort of like, this is my reality now. I can't escape this. This is who I am. And so I think that that is definitely a good way to see this, is that this is sort of a man who has been broken down so much that now going back to the real world, trying to interact like a normal human being makes no sense whatsoever. So they are just going to stay on the island and just see what happens to them from here. And I think that that is very much so a harder hitting ending, to think that the real James went to the airport and then decided to stay back. No, from the beginning, the real James decided to stay on the island and instead send the clone out. That way that his wife wouldn't sort of be like trying to look for him or wonder what's going on. And he's decided to sort of punish himself by staying on the island because he thinks this is who he really is and he deserves this. He's not a psychopath like the other ones who can do all of these horrible, horrendous things that they did all throughout this vacation and then just go back to normal life like nothing ever happened. He has to himself punish himself, and that's the reason he decides to stay. So I think that's a really interesting way to look at it. Of course, this is not set in stone. We don't know anything until Brandon Cronenberg and the company tells us what exactly is the ending and what it means. But I thought it was interesting when I was reading up some of your comments, and also that Screen Rant article, which I'll provide below if you want to read more into it. But I thought that that's a very interesting way to look at it. And looking back at it, looking for all those clues and everything, it really does seem that there were more clones made than maybe we initially thought. And it's going to be interesting to see if we will see any more of this story be told, which I highly doubt. And by the way, I did see the unrated cut already at Sundance. There isn't much more that really implies if there's another clone or not. Not missing much things with the unrated cut, trust me. Don't worry, y'all. The R-rated cut is enough, trust me. But overall, I'm excited to see where we go from here. And if y'all want to talk more Infinity Pool theories and anything you thought about it, let me know in the comments down below. We'll definitely talk more about it if that's something you're interested in. We do have a couple of videos as well coming out, shorts and all of that we are planning on doing. And also we will be seeing today, so very excited for that. You will have my out of theater reaction tonight, as well as a review and everything tomorrow, and spoiler talk as well, like you know we do. We always love to talk spoilers here, so you'll have that tomorrow to check out. And also a video on a pop-up we actually got the chance to go to, which is the Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania pop-up. I posted a picture in the community. You can go check it out if you haven't already, but very excited to talk about that and show you everything we had there, because it was a very fun time indeed. But overall, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this Infinity Pool ending. What do you think about it? Do you think that that was a real James? Do you think that it was a clone? Or what do you think is going on? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested to know your thoughts and opinions on it. But as always, that is going to do it for me. Like I said, we are on the road to 30,000 subscribers, less than 4,000 to go to get to that. So super excited for that. And make sure you are hitting that notification bell so you know when these videos drop. Make sure you are also following us on all our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those. The more we grow on all of these, the more experiences we can bring to you. So really would appreciate all your help. And as always, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive. If you made it all the way to the end, really appreciate you. If you can go ahead, like I said, keep making sure you follow us on all of our other socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. All of that really goes a long way, especially when we're trying to get opportunities to go see things and get back to y'all. So very excited to get into what's coming next, which I will be announcing this week, which is a very exciting announcement, just like the Sundance one. So stay tuned for that. But overall, very much so appreciate you once again. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, stay positive.